Morning, everyone. Technical difficulties washed away like a kiss by a rose.
Now that your rose is in bloom, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? What do you finally? I've waited so long for your rose to be in bloom. Now it is. She's still young, Seal.
Right, read it. Read the lyrics. What's Seal up to here? What's Seal up to, guys?
Yeah, I've got the lyrics here. What's he up to?
Let me just lead you in.
There used to be a grey tower alone on the sea. Anyway, the chorus goes.
He's good, Seal. He is good. It's not the words that makes it great. It's the way he sings it.
Yeah,
my passion, my pleasure, my pain. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Go on, then.
But is he a pedo? So, baby, I compare you to a kiss from the rose on the grey. What does that mean? Doesn't mean anything.
Kiss
the more I get of you, the stranger it feels.
Wait, slow down.
Yeah.
Kiss by a rose on the grey. We're saying grey, is it?
It is grey. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
As in the grey area, as in.
Yes. Yeah. And the more I get of you, the stranger it feels.
So
what are you saying?
It's wrong. You know
it's wrong, Seal.
What is it? Your cousin or something? What's going on here?
The more I get of you, the stranger it feels. Yeah.
That is where he's good. I don't think anyone can sing the. I can't do it. Yeah. He's so good. Go on.
Right. Is it because this is the problem line?
Okay.
And now that your rose is in bloom. A light hits the gloom on the grey. Your rose is in bloom. How long have you been waiting for this girl? Deal.
Feels like I don't know. Feels like she's just turned of age. That's what it sounds like, Seal.
That's what it sounds like to me. And do you know what? I'm not standing for it anymore.
Yeah, I like Seal as well. What a shame.
Yeah, football podcast.
Yep. Lots of drama this week. Some great comments, which we'll be talking about. We've unearthed a whole range of football of Jaffin fans that I didn't realise. Some Chinese, some French. After last week's Spanish comment, yeah. I want to talk about Carrick. He put his fingers in our mouths quite simply last week.
Just bent us over and smacked our ass, didn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't actually. Do you know what, James? I was thinking. I think, and look, who am I to tell you how to write a YouTube title? But
yeah,
I feel like we went too hard on him.
We went early. We did go early. You got to go punchy. And with that, I would like to discuss the Martinez versus Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt. With Paddy McGuinness seemed to be out of it, but yeah, obviously that whole situation. Also, we could talk about why every English team will make the Champions League playoffs, because there's a reason behind it. And we've got a really long, just some of my favourite comments from last week.
Good.
Which is nice. Some people
we're talking about the money. We're talking about Deloitte.
And we're going to talk about the money. Yeah, well, that's kind of the answer, yeah. And I've also written, Tottenham win football match. So
yeah, we did. Yeah, fuck me.
Unbelievable. Just share the screen so you can see that.
I don't want to talk about Spurs again, but I just thought this is what we were talking about in the group. Very quickly. If he beats Dortmund, he gets Burnley, who we're playing at the weekend.
Yeah.
If he beats Burnley, given Venkatesham how patient he is, he probably gets the season, bizarrely.
Yeah.
If he gets the season, he gets the summer.
Yeah.
If he gets the summer, he's building his squad, he's got to get next season.
Yep.
So no matter how shit Thomas Frank is, he'll be with us for ages. That's what I reckon. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Spurs. We did loads on Spurs last week and the week before.
Fair enough. So are you saying...
What have you got on your head?
Are you saying...
Could
they?
Could I don't know.
Should I be wearing the could? It's too early for the could they cap? Too early for the could they cap. I'm going to take it off. It's I got sent this for Christmas. I actually got sent 4 of them.
Who?
Charlie.
Who sent it to you?
Nutcase. He went, one for you and one for the rest of the team. I thought, mate, I'll give it to them. They're not going to wear them. But I've still got 2 could they caps.
Well, I'd quite like a could they cap.
Could they cap?
Can you buy those things?
Nah, he just blessedly made them for me.
Who's Charlie?
Charlie Zazari. He
Oh, yes, I know. You're a Watford fan.
Yes, Watford fan. So, yeah. I mean, and that's all it takes, one victory, doesn't it? And we're back. I'm sure Liverpool fans are feeling good after their solid victory over De Zerbi. Everyone goes mad about De Zerbi, tactical mastermind. Hang on a minute. She's got pumped 3-0.
I've got some thoughts.
On who?
I think I'll save it for the bit where we're talking about... No. I'll save it for the chat when we're talking about how many English clubs will make it into the top 8.
Okay. We are here with our beloved Patreones, moist sluggies. If you're in the chat, holla. We're with them doing the mailbag this week as well. And we do, so we do a second podcast every single week. Come and join the gang. Flav dropping parental advice bombs, like in a good way.
Yeah.
What else were we talking about this week? Can't really remember. Oh, we were laughing at Stuart Lee clips.
Yeah.
And so much more. So if you want to join us, become a moist slug. Links in the description. Less than a London pint. Quite clearly less than a London pint these days.
These days, 2 London pints, probably.
These days, you get thrown in jail for asking for change back from a pint.
Half a London pint.
Yeah, half a pint these days.
Half a pint is what it costs to become a patron. And you missed out on riveting conversation. You may have already noticed if you're watching this on YouTube, but the borders have gone. And that was decided upon on the mailbag this week.
Absolutely. So if you've been triggered by hang on, there's something different here, what's going on, we'll stop that pain now. But the trigger warning was provided to the Moist Slugs going into this. They actually helped us make the decision. So yeah, that could have been you. Right. First of all, I think we have to touch on Carrick putting his fingers in his mouth, in our mouths.
In our mouths.
He did it.
None of you believed in me, you little son. None of you fucking know you got that in your fucking throat. How does it feel?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah.
Doubt me again. Doubt me again, you fucking slow.
Incredible result for you today. Michael, what would you want? What? No, sorry, I'm trying to ask you a question. And I'll answer. And he does it soft Geordie accent. I'll answer that in a minute. But first, where's Roy? Well, he's upstairs. He's upstairs with everyone else. Right, I'll be right back. Well done, Michael. I love it.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong.
Not only
one game in it.
Yes, it was one game, but not only did he win, he won well. They look great. I was watching it, and obviously I had a vested interest in City winning, and they're falling off a cliff again. I think largely down to that defence. Obviously, you can't lose, no matter how good you are, you cannot have a backline of Ake, the bloke no one's ever heard of before, the centre-back, and
Max Lane.
Who?
Max Lane.
Who cares, mate? Who cares? And the other one.
Yeah.
Who was the other one?
Khrushchev.
Yeah. I mean, who cares? Who cares about him?
Yeah, no. Don't say his name.
Who was right?
Don't say his name.
Who was the right back?
Rico Lewis.
No one cares, James.
Yeah, sorry. No.
That's what I'm saying. So if you've got a team, if you've got a back line and no one cares who they are, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Because Man United were great and exploited it, and they looked up for it.
Nathan Ake was left back.
Yeah.
No, he did brilliantly, and I think this is good. This is good for us. Life makes idiots of us all. Are they back? Are they back? Are they back? Do you know what? I wish we could. It'd be interesting to see everyone, because I bet if you went, as much as Paul Scholes got a lot of heat, my nose has just gone really red, hasn't it? As long as Paul Scholes got a lot of heat for his comments, him and Nicky Butt going at him. We all, if you look back at the last 2 weeks, I reckon, if you looked at any Man United content, it was, utter disaster. The squad's not good enough, isn't it? There is a moment, isn't it? When things aren't going well, you just go,
Yeah.
Squad's look, guys, you need to listen to what I'm about to say. Squad's not good enough.
Yeah.
And that was the feeling around Man United.
Screaming at them for the idea of an interim manager. That Darren Fletcher or Michael Carrick, the idea of Michael Carrick even being the manager, no one thought. There's a few people who would have gone, yeah, let's give him a go. Like, give the lad a go, see what it is. But by and large, I don't think there were many Man United fans who were doing backflips about him being their interim manager, regardless of him being regardless of being a club legend.
And if you go back to the tweet I put out last week and said, "What would your advice be?" Everyone said, "Run." Yeah. Everyone said, "Run." But that is the point. It's good. That's the great thing about football. We are hopefully still in a world where anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone. It's 11 against 11. Get the boys working a little bit harder, and things can happen. So what has occurred is that Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt were kind of saying that Haaland's going to body Martinez. Martinez has then come out and afterwards making some comments back because he's been asked the question. And now Martinez has
treated like a little toddler.
Yeah. And Scholes and Nicky Butt have told Martinez, I've never said Martinez or Martinez, but whatever, to grow up.
Has he responded?
Martinez hasn't, and I think it'd be interesting to see. Say they've got Arsenal this weekend, which is actually it's a great time to play Arsenal because there's no expectation whatsoever, and you've just had that one hard game. So go and beat another one with this newfound belief. But if they win it, what'll be interesting is if Martinez walks, because they walk past the sort of, what's it called, the mix zone, the press zone, whatever it's called, and they have a decision if they want to go and talk to them or not, right? And obviously he did it, and obviously answered the question. This is what Nicky Butt, I just want to get some of the comments. They said, telling the Argentinians to grow up over his response to the criticism. They'd said that they would, Erling Haaland would pick him up and throw him. I'm actually slightly nervous about this conversation just because I feel like we said something kind of similar in the sense that we felt like, and I have had, as a short man, I have had reservations of over Martinez being like able to do it. But absolutely, Haaland couldn't get near the ball. The whole team.
What are you nervous about?
Well, no, just like, you don't want to kind of just go, oh, well, you're short, so you can't do it. But I think centre-back is that kind of position where, ideally, you have got a bit of height about you. So it's going to be something that's going to follow around. Anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Nicky Butt mocked the defender's size before his battle with Erling Haaland. I think Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes aren't big people, are they, by the way? Anyway, no. It's irrelevant. Pick him up and run with him.
Well, there's like a sizes issue.
No, it's not. No, I think it's not a sizes issue. But I think if they were 6'4" and saying it, it's probably a touch meaner. It's not important. Let's not derail.
Okay.
Scholes said he had previously exchanged messages with Martinez on social media and he'd not heard anything. Anyway, they come back. It was tongue in cheek. I want to try Martinez's comments. I can't seem to find that, which is annoying. But basically, he said, "I don't care what they say. You can do what you want." And they can come around mine if they want to. Something like that. I'll try and find it in a sec. But Scholes and that have said, grow up. You're going to have to deal with comments. But what I think
he was asked, though. It didn't come out. He was asked by the sounds of it.
Yes. So what I think is really interesting is the ecosystem that is sort of building up this new sort of version where every ex-player has a podcast now. Right, and that's not a dig. It's just where it's moving, right? And the kind of ecosystem within that, where the biggest things to be spoken about are the comments of Roy Keane about the manager on the Overlap podcast, are Paul Scholes' comments about Martinez on their podcast, but also within that mix, how fans are louder than ever before, and fans have huge platforms. Think of all the Man United channels that there are, where they can turn on the legend and go, you can't talk like that. What do you think about it? Let me find this.
I don't think they care what fans think on whether or not they can talk. You can hear it. Like, you can hear criticism. I would, if it was a Spurs instance, I would be like, as an ex-player, help us out here. Like, we're already in a difficult position. Going into that City game, we kind of, Carrick's first game as United legends and stalwarts. Like, let's just say the right thing in the build up to the game. This is where my frustration would be.
Right.
However, they don't care, and they have a platform that they've created, and so there is an expectation or a demand from supporters that ex-players should continue to play ball and be voice, a megaphone for the club, and could just support them and say the right thing and produce propaganda. But having met Paul Scholes a number of times, he just says whatever he wants. And he always has quotables coming out of the overlap. Always. He always says something and it'll make the headlines and people react to it. So I just think we're in an era where there is unlimited discourse around your football club, especially if you're Manchester United. And so there'll be a number of or countless times where ex-players are saying things that content creators don't like or fans of the football club don't like. And especially when you've just got working class normal blokes like Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt talking, they're not going to play ball. They're not going to toe the club line.
Well, so I think there's lots of really interesting stuff there. So first of all, here's the comment. He said, honestly, he can say whatever he wants. I told him already, if he wants to say something to me, he can come to me wherever he wants, to my house, wherever. I don't care.
Yeah.
So first of all, like Martinez, I think he's absolutely every right to go. The problem is it's very difficult to win this unless you keep winning, right?
They started this course, so of course he can say what he can reply if he wants to.
He should have the right reply, especially when he's gone. Like he's absolutely owned Haaland in that game. He was sensational. His passing was sensational.
Also, probably motivated by it, right? Probably, but also he's in a situation where what they say has genuine impact on how Man United fans feel, and how wider fans feel. And there is already this pre-built idea of what Martinez is as a footballer because of his size.
Yeah,
isn't there? So they're feeding into this stereotype that already exists, which is a problem because it creates a narrative that perhaps isn't true, and that narrative is he's too small to do it in the Premier League. When the reality is he's not. He's more than good enough to be in the Premier League, regardless of his size.
I mean, it's something that he'll have to use, right? Like a Busquets is not quick, but he's so good. Otherwise, it doesn't end up mattering. So if he can do that, then it's absolutely fine. I just think it's really, really interesting where, let's say, over the last 10 years, probably is getting to 10 years now, isn't it? When we think of that feeling towards fan creation, I hate even using that word, fan media.
Yeah.
And because for me, the reason I get kind of annoyed by that is that if this is your profession and you are professional about it, then that stops being fan media for me, because you've done 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 hours of it. You are an expert in it. You know everything on it. And we always believed that, that would rise, because if you're offering, good delivery, insight, education, like that expert knowledge, someone like, say, Kieran Maguire, we could touch on in a sec, who's like, for the price of football, for him to show that expert opinion that is of value, you then become successful, right? And us all talking about football and being able to talk about football, and the way that people have turned their noses up at it for so long, but that is now kind of being washed away. And once that gets washed away to a point, what we're seeing is the jump over the fence to the other side, to what social media is now, what YouTube is now. What YouTube was and what it is now is massively different. And so now all of these guys are seeing, there's an opportunity here to be relevant, to make money, to have something to do, like to look to succeed, right? What's interesting to me is that now that they're stepping this way, I think these ex-players overall have they've kind of not been able to get away with it, but like there hasn't been the same. They haven't been held up to account in the same way. And what's interesting here, when you think of like the fan channels and how you decided to be portrayed and how you would behave, the people that got criticism at the time was, AFTV, right? In the way that they did their coverage, because it felt like it wasn't helping, right? Then you'd have like Redmen TV, who were very aware of what they were doing and wanted to represent the club in a way that was as helpful as possible to support the club, right?
Yeah.
And what I think might be interesting when we start to see these legendary players kind of stepping into this world, it's kind of confusing for some Man United fans, and they're going to now have to. It's going to be the other way around, where the fans are going to go, Paul, Nicky, you're not helping. You need to be kind of better than this. And then comes the choice for these guys to, if they do care or not, if their behaviour does change or if it doesn't. Because I think what's really annoying Man United fans, rightly or wrongly, is a lot of these Man United pundits, I think, are, because they're Man United, they're able to go in hard on Man United, but that same hardness is not being used when they're talking about other clubs, because they're aware that fan bases are going, well, you're just a Man United fan. So they're dealing with that, and now they're going to have to deal with this.
They're all, but we're holding them up to a higher standard for some reason, because we all do that. We all do that about our football clubs. We all find them, the tiny aspects that perhaps if you only watch Spurs from afar or QPR from afar or whatever it might be, that you wouldn't be aware of unless you watch them every game. So you've got Paul Scholes, who watches and experienced every frustration and has had thoughts about Lisandro Martinez as many Man United fans, and questioned whether or not he's good enough. And then that comes out because you can speak with expert authority when you're talking about your own football club. So obviously that's going to happen. What people demand of these ex-players is either a proactive messaging about the betterment of the football club. That's what they really want to hear. And what they get is a conversation that they've already said. So Sam Peoples has been critical about Manchester United, probably much more severely than anything Paul Scholes has ever said, but it's fine because Sam Peoples never played for Manchester United.
Well, just because I know if Sam's listened to this, then he'd be annoyed. Not annoyed, but like he probably want me to say this is that. So Sam has done a video on Paul Scholes. He's done a video on Gary Neville saying that to the point that you're not helping. So that he actually,
but it's not their role to help. They're just fans talking, but they have a massive platform. And if Sam Peoples wants it, he can have it wherever he is. I'll drive to him if you like.
Yeah.
So if you got any problem with that, Sam, fucking, what are you gonna do?
Sam,
mate, I'm giving you coverage. I'm giving you fucking exposure right now.
Yeah.
Promoting you right now. Anyway, right. What's Adam McCullough? We've been way more critical of Man United than Gary Neville ever has been. But Gary Neville has the platform. Paul Scholes has the platform. Manchester United have more people talking about Manchester United from an ex-player perspective, probably than any other football club. Liverpool, maybe another one. So what they say is magnified, but it's no different than what's being discussed in every one of these people's podcasts.
So I'm not
to a lesser degree.
I'm not saying anything here. I'm just asking the question. Do you think people in, that class of 92, because I think a really interesting point is the fact that they made comments about Alan Hansen, right? And Alan Hansen making comments about them and them having to deal with that, saying you win nothing with kids. I dispute that take from Paul Scholes, because what I would say is that that's Alan Hansen talking about another club. And if you look at the 90s, and I guess the rise in sort of more television with Sky and BBC, blah, 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 the top pundits were understandably, regularly, Liverpool faces, right? Graham Souness, Mark Lawrenson, Alan Hansen. And their voice was an influential voice. And that influential voice made life harder for the Liverpool squads of the time. Like, did they get their recruitment right? You know, all those other things, of course, are an issue. But in terms of sort of the press and national discourse when it comes to football, or global discourse now, those players, and we've seen it come round again. So Liverpool had that time. Those sort of players got kind of washed away in terms of those Liverpool pundits being influential. It then became the Man United lot: Rio, Gary, Roy, Paul, like all those Man United faces. And now it's them, understandably, going, "We were brilliant. You should be brilliant." And that has been a huge part of what's made life difficult for Man United. So it's not the same as the Alan Hansen thing, in my opinion. And I actually quite like Paul Scholes. I like he says it how he wants to say it. And actually, I think what I'm intrigued is how and if he will, quote unquote, learn from this, because he's not, this isn't playing football. This is being in the media, right? So, and you can't just go, "Oh, we're just having a chat." You do have to think about what you're saying.
Yeah, you only have to think about what you're saying if you're worried about the backlash. And I just don't think he cares. Genuinely, I don't think he cares.
Yeah. But does he care about Man United, and does he want them to do well? And would that tweak his ways? Because we've all had those moments where you go, "Oh, should I have said that?" Probably, you know. Again, I guess it matters. All it matters if you care about it or not. But I just think I find it so interesting. This, obviously, we're in this space, and this space, if you think of, like, we're going to talk about some of the comments that we made on the podcast, like 2018 or something like that, right? Like, the space then and the space now is so different, and I feel like there's been such an explosion in this last six months, with everyone going, "Oh, right, it's this sort of new layer of gold rush from the rest of the of media now." So they're going to have to deal with all this shit, basically.
By the way, this is a brilliant thing for their podcast. A brilliant thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not rushing to listen to Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt talk about anything, really. But now that this has exploded, you've got all the fan channels pointing back at this podcast. And I don't think Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt are going to change a single thing. I don't think they're going to be aware of their position or their audience, and they're going to. This is, if you are producing a podcast, you want this stuff, you want this traction.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like Sam Fredgold here has just said, "I think the difference is that some people clearly just want the club to succeed, whereas some of the ex-players seem not to." I don't think Paul Scholes doesn't. I don't think he wants to. He wants Man United to succeed. Obviously, he does. He's a fan of the football club. I just think he doesn't care if his words get in the way of it. And should he? As a pundit, do you want him to just sugarcoat Manchester United? Are they being harsh?
It's not the words. It's not sugarcoat.
That's what fans want, though.
They want empathy. I think they want empathy. I think they want to go. Paul,
they want a cheerleader.
You've been there.
They want a cheerleader.
No, I don't think they need to. Like someone like, I was listening to 5 Live. Paul Robinson was on it, and he's brilliant. Paul Robinson is so good, and I don't
the ex-goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's sort of he's cutting with his comments, but in a way that's like feels educated. Like he's got these great little stats that he's gone and found. Like he's thought about what he's going to say, but he's not afraid to say what he wanted to say. Like they were talking about how. And I know he works with the club at different times, but he's not bothered to go. They was talking about Thomas Frank and saying, "Oh, the ownership have backed him," and he went, because Thomas Frank had been for lunch with them, and Paul Robinson was like, "They're still his paymasters. Like, it doesn't matter if he's going for lunch with him or not. He needs to get some wins, but at the same time, I think it's about the players." But the point is that I think Man United fans. It's one of those ones where it's like, not you, Paul. Like, come on. Like, they're expecting, and rightly or wrongly, and again, I'm not having a go at Paul Scholes, but this is what has occurred, is that you expect them to not be on your side, but be at least empathetic to your side.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that when you were talking there, and I was thinking about our Europa League run last year, and Glenn Hoddle was commentating on every game, and like he's a legend, obviously. He's a legend, and you know, I just think that I just wanted a little bit more leeway to what Ange was trying to do. But what I actually got was Glenn Hoddle going, "This is madness. You can't keep playing like this. You cannot win anything playing like that." And I was like, I'm going to scream. I'm like, we'd start watching this game, right? Bearing in mind, there was about 28 Europa League games before we got to the final. And I was sitting with my dad and I went, please don't be Hoddle, please don't be Hoddle. Please. And it comes on, you're like, Glenn Hoddle and Sam Matterface, and you're like, I'm going to shoot myself in the fucking head. Because you knew you were getting no change, right? You've got Matterface, who's a Chelsea fan, right? And Glenn Hoddle, you're supposed to be on our side a little bit. And that's all we wanted.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You got it. That's it. It's not, it's like, Paul, we know he's 5'9". We know Haaland's great. We know this club's a mess. We're not doubting any of that. But it's like, give us a road out. Like, or at the very least, don't block the road. Don't put a hump on the road. I think that's a valid feeling from, if you are Man United, which these guys kind of have to be, or inevitably will be. I think it's a real blind spot in elite sports people, if I'm honest, of the guys that won all the time. They think they're different. And
I think this is a massive issue.
Right. And I think, do you know had an elite mindset, right? Who was a winner, a leader, who gave everything, did everything the right way, got the best out of himself, all the elements that you want, in an elite sports person. Mark Noble, right? And Mark Noble played for West Ham and did okay, right? They're all in the top 1%, but it's just it's the people you have around you sometimes, right? So when you see all these guys come out of it, and I cannot reiterate enough, Paul Scholes is one of my favourite players of all time.
Yeah.
Right? To watch. But this isn't playing football anymore, right? So it's just like those players sometimes not being able to be coaches, right? Or I have a belief that I think the best, and maybe this is selfish for me, but like as a short centre midfielder, I think short centre midfielders are great managers because they have an understanding and an empathy and a reference point for all these different people, but understand probably what the best players want, but also the other guys as well, right? And I think a lot of these guys, they forget that, yes, you were amazing. You had so much talent, but you also had unbelievable players around you all the time, better than everyone else. And your confidence is okay because you have won before. You've won for the last 5 years. Like, and maybe I'm being too simplistic with it, but like that lack of empathy of going, just figure it out and win. We were able to do it. Of course you were. You had all the best players.
So that comes round to the point I wanted to make, is that the fact that they were so successful, the fact that they've got such big platforms is a problem, because they're almost looking down the nose at what Man United have been since they hung up their boots. And what they don't realise is that was lightning in a bottle. You had everything all come along at the right time. These clutch of players from that you didn't have to pay for, which meant you could invest elsewhere on the squad. In the class of 92. In the best.
And also, not just that, like, you could invest in the best. They bought Roy Keane for, British transfer record, best player in the league. Fergie had an idea of, like, go and buy the best player in the league. A couple of years after that, he buys Cole, best player in the league.
Yeah.
Like, it goes on and on.
But they didn't need a right back. They didn't need a left back. They didn't need a left winger. They didn't need a right winger. That's what the value of Giggs, Beckham, Gary Neville, Phil Neville. You've got a midfield of Butt and Scholes, right? I know they came at slightly different times, but that is a clutch of young players which meant that you've got 6 or 7. That's like in a modern era, that those five or six players would fetch you $500 million, probably 500 million for Giggs, Beckham, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Scholes and Butt. Yeah, easily 500 million to buy all those, right? So that they had that. They also had the greatest manager the Premier League's ever seen. On top of a brilliant recruitment strategy and a guy who could just decide what it was needed and who knew how to adapt, but also sell players at the right time. He was just a genius, Ferguson. So Paul Scholes was a part of it, but he was a cog in a machine that was unstoppable. And
that whole generation arrived after winning the league in 92-93, winning the league in 93-94, being like missing out on the final day in 94-95, winning it in 95-96.
You cannot hold the current club to the same standard, is what I'm saying. And so they are doing that. They can't not do it. I think Gary Neville does it. And so as a Man United fan, it would be frustrating because we're here now. Like, we enjoyed all that, we remember, but we're still here. This is still our club.
I think,
and by slagging one off, it's making it more difficult to follow, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, by the way, they won it in 95-96. But the reason they won it in 95-96 was, but at that point they were the other guy. Yes, they're obviously they're so exciting and talented. We know all that, right? But they were kind of the other guys. That was an amazing culture for them to be in with with Roy Keane knocking about, with Bruce and Pallister knocking about, with Eric Cantona dragging them at times. Anyway.
Yeah.
But the Neville thing, this is what I think is interesting from the media point of view as well, is that And again, you're right. Scholes might not care as much, but to the point of the sort of the player and the journey that they had, I feel like, and I get it, I understand it, that Gary Neville, hasn't got that maybe sort of blind mindset that it feels like Scholes and Keane have by always being brilliant at the game, if you know what I mean. And again, just having different personalities. But Gary Neville, there's a lot of talk about Gary Neville, about how the fact that they feel like he's almost like a Liverpool fan. I think that is because, he's not, he's been
tempting.
Worn down a touch by, there's an easy thing to lean into where you go, you give plaudits. You look good if you go, I bloody hate Liverpool. But, they are sensational. It's
called grifting because it really lands well. It lands well, but it's already it's grating on the fans. There are TikTokers out there that dine out. This is their industry. Is grifting. Is going over. Yeah. What should I do? I tell you what's going to do is I'm going to give Arsenal respect as a Spurs fan. That is going to do numbers, and it does, unfortunately. But
that is everywhere, by the way, right now. That is absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Gary Neville has to, James. He has to, in his position, attempt as much as he can to be as objective as possible. And it still comes through. You can hear it when he's talking about Manchester United or Liverpool. It does come through. And same with Carrick as well. They can't help it. They're fans. They're like us.
Do you know what the advantage I have, to be fair, is that Chelsea aside, and I think and you can talk objectively about them and still want them to lose. Like, you can do that. That's easily done. But aside from that, being the QPR fan makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, it definitely. But you're still accused of biases that don't exist. You say anything negative about a club, you get attacked by a fan base.
Yeah. But in itself, that actually, the way after talking about this, it's actually makes me feel a bit better about it because I've had it from everyone. So that kind of actually proves,
of course,
that you're probably not doing it for the sake of it. Pure Basso said, and this is after. Just to bring it back round, this is after obviously we put out a podcast going, is Carrick ruining his career by taking this job? He says, this is why your opinions inevitably mean nothing.
Yeah, obviously.
And the same goes for Scholes, Neville, and everyone, right? Because that's the great thing for the players, I think, is that they've got the opportunity to put the fingers in the mouth. And so they did.
But James, can I ask, what is the title about Carrick destroying Carrick was unfair because obviously he's just
a question, wasn't it? It was a question mark.
It was a question, it was a question. But as a state,
no, turns out
no. So you're in that. He's right, and then after the fact, it's easy to go back and say, "I told you so." Whereas if everyone expected him to lose that game, and everyone, to be fair, was fine that everyone arrived at that position that they thought that Manchester City was going to batter them, and when it started from start to finish, hats off to Carrick, hats off to the Man United fans, players. it was a sensational performance. Like I was watching it and I was like, what a game of football. This is why the Premier League is the best in the world, because no one expected Man United to do this. And they not only did it, they dominated and tore them apart. It was such a brilliant game of football. Quickly. Red card? Doku? Dallo? Red card? Come on. Not what?
Yeah, it probably is. It's
give
like
it
on
don't
the,
give it, but don't.
There's a scale, right? Let's say, imagine a scale, and it's like there's quarters to it, right? And in the middle is I have no idea. Like the soft is like a quarter of the way through. The low one's like the other half side of it.
Because it's
pretty bad. It is. If he gets sent off, you go. Bruno Fernandes, didn't he get sent off for something far less bad against Madison?
There's tons of examples where
it was probably
Caicedo's wasn't as bad as that.
It was.
Caicedo's wasn't as bad as that.
You're right.
I'm not saying he tried to hurt him, but anyway,
he tackles in a weird way, Delo, sometimes where he does that. So yeah, maybe that's the way he needs to learn.
Can I just say I've always liked Delo. I've quietly said
that.
I've
serious?
liked him yeah.
I hate him.
I've always thought he was. Oh, you hate him? I hate his guts, too.
Rubbish. I just think he's rubbish. But yeah,
okay.
Lazy analysis. But to the point, Carrick got him playing as a proper fullback, doing what he does well. So shut me right up.
What I loved about Roy Keane, I love Roy Keane. Like, really of all the pundits,
I'll be honest,
I just love listening to him talk. He just doesn't he's just who is it who said it? Conor O'Reilly said something here. I can't find it, mate, but he alluded to the fact that Keane just said on Alex Ferguson, "It's like, what's he doing here? He's just hanging around like a bad smell." This is Alex.
Oh, wait, hang on. Where's Connor's one? It doesn't matter. Connor, I can't find it. Foff says, I never thought I'd hear Jim say, life is easy as a QPR fan. I know. Crazy.
Keane made a comment. This is from George Pina, sorry. Keane made a comment about Sir Alex Ferguson hanging around like a bad smell.
Yeah, that was amazing.
He doesn't like him at all, does he?
No, he's not letting that go. I'm going to say something it's true, right? You're not going to like it. But Alex Ferguson will pass away at some point. And Roy Keane, it's just going to be like, Roy, thoughts? Do you know what I mean? If they have to do the overlap podcast and Roy's there, and he just shrugs his shoulders and went, do you know what I mean? I'm just like,
but I would rate
running out of time. You know, you're like, come on, guys, can you just fix this? Like, run out of time here. Like, stop it.
He doesn't like him. He doesn't have to fix it. And also, don't ask him for a comment when he passes. Don't do that.
I know, but mate. But
you're doing it for a reason. Where does that energy come from, James? It comes from you wanting him to say, "I don't care. People die" in an Irish accent. Is what George Pina says.
No, I don't. People die. No. Liverpool fan Nachina. Oh, right. So this was actually translated from Chinese, but I thought it was a joke. But this was a really good point, right? And what this could be a bit is like actual solutions. If you've got an actual solution to a never-ending talking point in football, let us know. Here's an example of one. So, Liverpool fan in China says, the only way to reset Manchester United is to let Gary Neville manage 10 games. Then let Ferguson win 10 games in a row after he loses 10. And when he can no longer magically win every game, those clumsy former Man United commentators will finally realise that football's moved on. I think that might be a good way. You let Gary Neville have a crack at it. You would imagine it doesn't go great.
No.
Well, you don't know. And then you let Fergie do it. And Fergie basically you give Fergie 10 games and he doesn't fix it. And then you go, see, let's move on.
Mm.
All right.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I do sometimes think like when like Gary Neville's talking about tactics and things are not working, and you're like, you had your go and you were rubbish. So what? Like,
but that's the thing, we haven't had a go, and what I'm allowed to talk about it.
You are because you're not. Well, yeah, you are, but it's almost like there's no like. What if you did have a go, James? They never let you have a go. That's the thing. But if you did have a go, maybe you would be all right.
I think the point is, back up what you're saying. That's where I'm like, of course I've not played that level, and this is just my opinion. But if I can back it up with something, then that's going to give it a little bit more validity. By the way, I'm absolutely buzzing this week, right? I wish I'd done it at the start of the video. I sort of broke down the game, the Manchester Derby game. And I did the Bruno Fernandes. I want to show you this bit of brilliance that Bruno Fernandes did, which allowed for that goal. And then Thierry Henry did the exact same analysis, like 3 days later.
What? Do you reckon he stole it from you?
No. But I'm just like, at least I'm seeing things that you are seeing that you think is worthy enough to do.
Jim, I would say, I'd give you even more credit. I would say that he doesn't actually. I think he would have been given
maybe I've heard
some lines.
Go on.
And that whoever works for CBS or whatever it is, their channel is, has seen your content and gone, that's great. I'm going to give that to Thierry. Do you reckon? What's better, Thierry just saying it, or you effectively feeding Thierry?
I would love that. I would love to feed Thierry. I think if you're feeding, like Kane is just being fed goals. If I'm feeding Harry Kane, I'm just like, get it in him, get the goals in him.
Just fed.
With Thierry, it's a really dainty little piece, and you're going, here we go. But if I was to, I'd love to feed Thierry. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
There was a singer. Go on.
But to know the way I took it in was that because you go and see that. And like, there is a bit of you that's like, I did that 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But it's not groundbreaking. It's not outrageously groundbreaking stuff. The point is, if I can be seeing things that he's willing to utilize for his analysis, and he wants to look good as well.
You could have done what he did as a player, probably.
No, but the point is that at least I'm seeing something. Like, at least I'm not so stupid.
Yeah. No, you're not. Don't say that.
Anyway.
I was watching the Romesh. He does these interviews, podcasts.
Yeah. Have you seen his Ricky Gervais one?
Some of it, yeah.
It's fairly good.
Yeah. And he had this singer on. I don't know who she is. And she was, there was at some sort of FIFA event, and she was going to sing a song at the FIFA event, and her song's used in the game. And Thierry Henry was there. It's probably a launch of FIFA or something like that.
Was it Joy Brooks? And, Joy Crookes. What's her name? Go on, carry on.
I don't know. Mixed race. Dual heritage, sorry.
Yeah.
Joy
Crookes.
Is it Joy Crookes?
Yeah.
And she's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't believe Thierry Henry. Can't believe you're like Thierry Henry over there. And she could hear over the comms Thierry Henry singing her song. And so the runner or the agent said, "Do you want to meet him?" And she was like, "Oh, well, I'll come to him, obviously." And she said, "No, I'll bring Thierry to you." And he's gone in there, and they've been talking. Guys, I'm a big Arsenal fan, really proud of you. But I've got something to tell you. And he goes, "Well, what do you need to tell me?" And she went, "I'm Irish." And that is really what's important. Forget how good he is in the Premier League. The fabric of the man is that he's a cheat.
I love that. I love you. By the way, I've heard that Henry's unbelievable, like, analysis-wise. He's not getting fed anything, by the way. Apparently, he's like watching games all the time. Lad's on another level. Yeah, fair enough. Why every English team will make the Champions League playoffs? The reason being that they've got all the money, haven't they?
Well, have they? Because if you look at no, James.
Okay.
For the first time in 2 decades or so, whatever it is, who cares? There isn't an English club in the top 4 richest in world football.
Yes.
Right. So we don't have all the money. 4 other clubs in Europe have more money than the clubs that are going to be taking up a vast majority of the places in the top 8. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I would say collectively, the British clubs have more money than almost everybody else in the competition. But we know that Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and PSG have more at this stage.
Okay.
And PSG won it last year, didn't they? So
right. I feel like you're looking at the pie, but you're looking at it through a tiny keyhole. So two facts I'll give you here. Right. First of all, of the top 20, so we're not in the top 5. Fine. Jesus. Well, actually, no. Liverpool are 5th, aren't they?
Liverpool are 5th in the world.
Yeah.
Or Europe. But they're top of the Premier League, in terms of earnings.
So,
first time.
But of the top 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, one of those being Man United, who finished where?
16th.
Right, just behind them, Tottenham, who finished 17th. Right, Chelsea, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Aston Villa, 7, Newcastle, 8, West Ham, 9. So 9 of the 20 are English clubs. Now we can talk about bad, good thing, whatever. I think what we are seeing is that the Premier League is the Super League, right?
Oh yeah.
And when we look at, and you said it, we were chatting about it briefly on the mailbag when you were talking about, football incredibly briefly, but you were saying how German football's rubbish, and how Tottenham, who cannot get themselves a bloody win, are able to get a win.
I just was watching the game, Jim.
Sure.
I was watching the game, and I've watched all the games, haven't I, Spurs this year?
Yeah, big time.
I was watching it, and I was thinking, we're not very good, are we, in the Premier League? I think everybody understands that. Thomas Frank approval rating is currently 2.8%. And we were playing Dortmund, who were second in the league in Germany.
And I hadn't lost since October in Germany.
I was like, why have we got so much space? Why is this so easy? And it was just like, if we are turgid, is the best way to describe Spurs as a footballing entity right now. Turgid. Right. It was like I was like transported back to 2010 Harry Redknapp team. We were just cutting through them. Odegaard looked good, and I was just thinking, there's an idea of what Borussia Dortmund are. There's an idea of what Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are probably much closer to it. Obviously, much closer to it. They've got Elise, they've got Kane. Gnabry's playing brilliantly at the moment. They've got tons of good players, a good manager and company. Right, all works. But generally, there's an idea of what Borussia Dortmund are. And that is a kind of, it's certainly in the last 15, 20 years, monolithical contribution to
in the Champions League final 2 years ago, weren't they?
Right. There is an idea of that. Now, there is also an idea of what Bournemouth are.
Yeah.
And I was, when Tottenham play Bournemouth, you're like, well, surely it's little old Bournemouth. We'll beat them. And when they play Dortmund, it's like, oh, that's Dortmund. Probably won't beat them. I don't think there is a great deal of difference between Borussia Dortmund and Bournemouth. And I think if they were in the Premier League, they would be bottom half.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, so the 9 of the 20, I don't disagree. But you got like Man City, Chelsea in 8th, Newcastle in 7th, Tottenham in 5th, Liverpool in 4th, and Arsenal top. And top by a distance, by the way. Best club in the world, Arsenal.
They haven't even lost the game, have they? Look.
Yeah.
Drawn one.
Amazing.
Drawn one.
So that's, I mean, for the world's game, is that problematic? It feels like it is. We're the haves, not the have-nots in that sort of part of it. What I will say is this. So what's there, 90 clubs in the Football League? I always get it wrong. It's 90, isn't it? Is it 90?
92.
92, sorry.
Oh, no, it's 72. No. Yeah, it is. No. It's got to be 72.
Someone let us know. 90 odd clubs, right? I was listening to Kieran Maguire's Price of Football, and they'd found this sort of study, and it was saying, so yes, 9 of the top 20 are in the top 20, sorry. The revenues from commercial money, in terms of people understanding their stadium and utilising it, has gone through the roof, and that's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. But 1 in 10 Football League clubs, so I think that includes the Premier League, from what I heard, have a loss, are reporting a loss.
Yes.
So
yeah. Spurs lost money last. We all lost money last year. Yeah.
right. So the problem overall remains, which we've got to be very careful of here, because you've got this sort of Super League, but obviously they have so much more money than loads of Ligue 1, like top teams, for example, because their their TV deal fell through, right? So they've got to deal with all of that. But so to retain some kind of possibility quality to the rest of the league, which feeds into the Premier League and then doesn't lead to us, yes, currently having a great league, but it's one where you've got to come in and spend 100 million to give yourself an opportunity. And what I thought was interesting was that apparently with the bulk of those teams, even with essentially 80 of those teams putting forward a loss, Kieran Maguire saying that so many of those still have people that would have come in and buy the club. But if you are beholden to an owner, that is a very, 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 very dangerous thing. And it's kind of, this is awkward situation for me, if I'm honest. And quite a mirror to society, isn't it? Sign of times.
I think, I mean, this stems back from the fact that how globally popular the Premier League is, and how you can feed into, or you can monetize this global audience. And it's no surprise as well that the other clubs that are doing better than the Premier League clubs at the moment are the biggest clubs in the world that also have a brilliant global audience, a massive global audience. The commercial work that was being put in by the Premier League and by proxy Sky Sports in branding the Premier League over the last 25 years has been impeccable. And so it's attracted massive interest from all over the globe. And the byproduct of that is money is pouring into the biggest and most popular clubs in the Premier League. The La Liga and Serie A fell behind. They didn't do the work. Bundesliga didn't do the work. They didn't seize the opportunity, didn't have the right people in place to make the right decisions in order to grow the brand of the Premier League. This isn't our clubs misbehaving. It's our clubs benefiting from massive, the globalization of the domestic game.
Yeah, it's not, So just to be clear, it's not our clubs. It's your club.
Yeah, so it's my club.
Yeah.
But then in that, you've also got clubs complaining still. Oh no, we want to spend more money. Well, hang on, isn't it enough? What we've got here? Also, I mean, look, just as my ongoing feud with Aston Villa just will not abate. Sure. I'm 3-2 up at the moment. There's a couple of things that have happened this week. With Spurs have won over Aston Villa. Really? Yeah, I can't bring up one of them. One of them's too harsh, but
is it? Okay, well,
yeah, but it's less that really. It's there's a couple of things with Villa. It's since 1992, Villa have lost more money. Only Chelsea have lost more money than Aston Villa.
Yeah.
That sounds like financial mismanagement for me. That sounds like this is a product currently of where you are, where you can't spend exactly what you want, is a fallout of the financial mismanagement that you've had at your football club for decades. Okay. I don't know. I might be wrong. I'm just throwing stuff at you. You can deal with it. And the other thing is that Villa spend more than Tottenham on wages. So they say, "Oh, Tottenham, why have you bought Conor Gallagher? How comes Conor Gallagher? You can just offer Conor Gallagher more money?" Yes, we can, because our wage budget has been under control for a long time, whereas Villa's has been out of control
because of the commercial revenue, right? 3 cheers for Beyonce.
Yeah, 20 years of club building, Jim, is what you should be saying 3 cheers for. Right. So when Daniel Levy wasn't spending money on transfers, players, and players' wages,
3 cheers for Daniel Levy. Do you want to do it? Go on.
Yeah, certainly in terms of us being able to...
Sing it then. I've got the camera on you.
No, I don't want to sing it. The thing is, I would happily sing it, and I agree with the sentiment. And part of the reason why we're able to spend money the way we do now is because of Daniel Levy's work.
3 cheers.
However, if I say that, in the current state of the mood around Spurs fans, if it gets clipped up, I'm dead, right? So I'm not going to do that.
Fair point. That's it. Clever. See, Paul Scholes would do 3 cheers. He doesn't care. I think. But this is the thing with the money. 2 things. Tottenham. Look at the commercial money coming in. Look at those. Use your stadium. I don't think there's anything bad about that, personally.
And they are. There's Villa fans that they've told me that they are working, they are building, okay. they are going to be, so that's good. That's positive. It also brings in lots of work for the local community, and
exactly.
Manchester City, despite all of the charges and whatnot they're going to have to face maybe one day, they've done huge amounts in building around that stadium and community building, massive amounts.
Catherine, as Catherine says. She says Levy masterclass. Yep. She also says they've increased revenue by 46%. The reason, big part of that, a little bit commercial, as you can see, and then a little bit more match day because of Champions League, and then broadcasting because of Champions League. So what it does say is how important the Champions League is.
Champions League is massive
for Aston Villa, because for them to get, although they're in the top 20, they need to find a way to utilise, and all of these big clubs need to utilise their stadium more. Because to go back to Tottenham with the problems that you had, obviously you didn't have the Champions League, you did get to Europa League final, but the difference in the broadcasting money is, you can see the difference there. But the commercial
it's about 40 million euros.
Yeah, but the commercial money is so huge. So it's where your revenue streams are coming from, isn't it? And that's why Tottenham are actually bizarrely in a healthier place than Villa.
It's not bizarre. It's in black and white. It's one of the most explainable things that can happen in football.
But how you do on the pitch should have a bigger sway, but it doesn't. You've got to get the other bits in place.
Yeah, well, and it took Spurs 20 years to get here, bear in mind.
Yeah, free cheers with Daniel.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, let's sing it. 3, 2, 1.
I'm not singing. I can't deal with the backlash. I cannot deal with it, Jim. I've got so much on. I've got things to think about.
Sure. Kai's Charlton, Jim Big. These are my favourite comments from this week. Just finish off. To start off, I'm moist. I have been for a while now, but I've been missing the horns.
Good lad.
Yeah, so if you want to become moist, links in the description. Please join us. The numbers are getting bigger, which is delightful.
Yeah.
I have been, I'm moist. I have been for a while, but I've been missing the horn, so I waited for this to be on YouTube. I instantly went back to the Patreon link to hear what was censored. I had to censor one of your stories last week. People screaming for us to release the Neapolitan files. No.
Yeah, no. I was messaged on about 5 different things. I told them.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but it was just not what I might be wrong. So let's not.
I just couldn't be sure. Didn't feel bulletproof. I'll be honest.
I was like, I'm pretty sure this is fine, but I don't want to find out. I'm not bothered enough to find out.
That's it.
So let's not find out.
And that's and that's what Patreon's for. It's the shed within the shed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a lock on the door, hasn't it? You can pay to open. And
you got to know the pin. Elliot says, I've never played this podcast out loud around my girlfriend. It's just never happened. Not that I was worried about the content, but this weekend we're going to her cousin's house to celebrate her birthday. I'm getting ready with this on after a shower. I go, is it all right if I leave this on? She says, yes. On cue, he's bummed the kids, hasn't he? And she asked, what is this? I don't actually know. So thank you for that, guys. He also put forward a new segment, new bit. Right.
Yes.
I like this. Good. Elliot says, I also feel like there's a bad timing segment in this. I would love to hear some stories of some bad timing. I would love it. Let us know your bad timing.
I've got one. So I'll save it for next week. It wasn't bad timing. It's misjudgment,
right?
And bad timing. It involves a VHS tape full of pornography,
right? Yeah. What I would like to caveat that is
like, I might do it in mailbag actually.
My mate, and I've told the story. I'm sure my mate walked in on my other mate masturbate, and as he was climaxing. And he turned and laughed to him as he climaxed, going, I'm coming. Now, I'm saying that now. I'm coming. He's like, I'm coming. Laughing. I don't want loads of wanking stories, okay? I want other
Yeah.
bad timing. Okay, I don't want it's just to turn into that, right? Because I won't read them out and the bit will die. So other things, please. Right. Krillent. Good evening, Jim. Long time dry slug here.
It's not something to be, don't shout from the rooftops about that.
Yeah. So the bum the kids narrative couldn't have come at a better time for me, Jim. Thomas Frank, we were sort of putting forward the idea that maybe he had bummed the kids, or are the kids lying? Has it gone to court? It's gone to court, hasn't it?
I don't think he's
on trial.
I think maybe it was a dream. They've just woke. I don't know. This is a bit dark. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What was it? Just a funny, flippant thing? I'm not sure I want to go into this, dude.
My girlfriend and I have this routine where we make a note of something funny the other person has said on our phones. We went on a double date the other week, and she decided to read out some of her notes on me. One of which was from a couple of years ago when I said, "Where is the bum the kids bit?" When I had been trying to find the original video of Flav digging in on Poch. Needless to say, I had to dig myself out of a pretty substantial hole in front of the other couple and saying it's from a football podcast. Did not help my case whatsoever. Keep up the good work, boys.
Good lad.
So last week we had a sort of Spanish, our first Spanish fan I didn't realise. And then look, it sort of became a thing, which is why I love the comment section. Put it in. So we've got a Chinese and a French comment. Can't read out the Chinese, don't know it, but I'll read out translations from Samuel Patton. Doesn't sound that Chinese. And Green Blazer says, "Le parti censuré doit concerner Jermaine Defoe et les façons dont son attribut ressemble à une glace napolitaine. Mon Dieu, pourquoi?" I'll read it out. Okay, so I'll stop there. Read it out. So Samuel's Chinese one was, next week on Jaffin, which Premier League managers are on the spectrum and where are they on the and where on the spectrum are they? I'm not sure we'll do that bit, but it's funny all the same. And Green Blaze. Oh, I didn't do this. I copied the wrong bit. Hang on. Oh, fuck. Hang on.
Isn't it also like, isn't that going to expose what I said?
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what. Yeah, let's. I mean, it's there. I kind of have explained it in French. Yeah. Because I think I've just screenshotted not the translation now. But there's the answer to what the censored vase. There you go. Jermaine Defoe. That's all you kind of need, really. I think the rest felt kind of self-explanatory. Oh, that was it. This person was there like, why do I know that? That's something that he was saying with the Jermaine. He was like, oh, Flav's got to be talking about the Jermaine Defoe thing. Why do I know that?
This is it. Right, anyway, leave it.
Right, and there you have a lovely podcast. Lots of good football chat. I enjoyed it. I really did. Bad timing. Get your bad timing in the comments, please.
Bad timing's in. Get them in.
Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll speak next week. Join the mailbag. Links in the
Cheers, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Cheers, Sluggies.
That was Spurs.
Keep it coming.